Hello, welcome back to the Bar Gym Reviews. Today, a treadmill, but not just any treadmill. This one is more of like a walking pad. It folds up flat enough, it can slide under a bed, out of the way. It's remote controlled, and it goes all the way up to a 13% incline. The wildest part of the whole thing, it comes pretty much ready to go out of the box. This is the Akluer H1-B, and today I'm going to go ahead and go through kind of my unboxing experience, my first impressions, and then I'm going to walk you through, literally, its key features and to see if they're really worth it or not. With the spec sheet on this, it feels like it's going to be pretty premium. So, can the Akluer HB1 live up to the hype? Let's see what this thing can do. All right, so just a quick heads up. Akluer did send this treadmill to me to test. There will be a link in the description, an affiliate link. I do get a little bit of a kickback on that. So that means if you decide to pick that up, it does help out the channel. However, as always, we're going to keep this as an honest review. There is a pros and cons, so there has to be things that maybe I'd like for it to be a little bit better. So let's see how this thing really works and if it's really worth it. So let's start with the packaging. Packaging, honestly, was really solid. They had a lot of styrofoam in there, kept things pretty sturdy in there. Nothing really was jostling around. Everything was wrapped in plastic. And it took only about 2 days to ship to my house, which was super fast. So, experiences may vary on that, but it was about 2 business days, 3 days overall, I think, technically. So, when it comes to unboxing, as you can see, it arrives pretty much as a full unit. There really isn't much of a setup. The only setup I really had to do is I had to put on the little holder for like a cell phone or a tablet. There's no bolts, screwdrivers. Unfold the handle, plug it in, pretty much ready to go. It's pretty much plug and play here. So the whole setup took honestly like 5 minutes. Most of it was just clearing out the boxes and the styrofoam and all the plastic and kind of getting that stuff around. So no exaggeration, under 5 minutes, everything was out, ready to go, ready to walk, ready to run on the Akluer HB1 walking pad. All right, so now let's talk design. So the H1B is clearly built for small spaces. It's got a very low profile, looks pretty sleek to be honest. It's really not heavy at all. It's foldable with the handlebar here for safety that gives you support during incline, maybe a faster pace. And the deck height is super slim. So honestly, I think this is really perfect for somebody that might have low ceilings in their setup. But also, obviously, I think it's great for under desk use. So if you're at home or you work from home, this could be a great option. So I think it's a really, really great design having the low profile. It's also a nice touch to have the handlebar that folds and unfolds. And it does have buttons here as well that control the incline, whether it's up or down, pausing, stopping, and the speed. It also has an LED display that is at your feet, which is really kind of an intuitive design because you kind of just take a peek and see your calories and see your speed and the distance and everything that you've traveled here and the time. So another great design here. Has some wheels underneath. It makes it really easy to navigate and move around. So if this is something that you're just going to pull out to use for just the session that you're going to use it for, and then put it away in a closet under a bed, that's perfect, right? So I think the wheels really do make it really easy to move around, and it's just a nice finishing touch. And honestly, for me, I think that this thing looks design-wise good enough that if you don't have to put it away between sessions, I wouldn't. So overall, it's built for function, but also has a really nice design that I feel like you don't have to hide in a closet. All right, so I'm going to walk through some of these features. The first one I want to talk about is going to be the LED display and how it tracks your time, your distance, your speed, and the calories that are burned. There's really no clutter here. It's very basic, and it's at your feet. Everything is controlled either by the remote or by the display that's on this safety bar that's that can be folded or unfolded. Again, pretty simple: speed, incline, start, stop. It's pretty intuitive though, because it is very hands-free with the remote, which I really like. So when you have it in its under desk mode, or when you have this folded down, it does go up to 4 miles per hour, which is really nice because that's a pretty brisk walk. And you can use the remote kind of any time. The LED display is very simple to operate. It just cycles through continuously of your time, your speed, your distance, and your calories, and it's right at your feet. Now, if you have a desk over top, that might not be as easy to read, but for me, it's a super, super easy design to look at, right? So, additionally, the safety bar does have a very easy folding and unfolding that makes it really quick and easy to fold down or fold up. Um, Realistically, the safety bar, um, I would use it if you want to go over the 4 miles per hour. I would use it if you're going to be maybe a little uneasy, especially because it does go to a pretty steep 13% incline, which is very impressive for a walking pad, might I add. So I would use it for that. And it does go up to 7.6 miles per hour. So it might be something where you're slowing down. So the remote itself, it's pretty awesome, to be honest with you. I'm not sure if the company meant to do this, or it's something that they do for everyone. But they sent the remote, and it already had a watch battery included, but it also had an additional watch battery in the packaging. So 2 watch batteries, that's honestly already worth the price, because I hate trying to find those watch batteries. There's a million of them, right? So it's really nice, though. It does have this little, wristband kind of situation going on here, so you can kind of have it as you're walking. You could hang it on maybe your desk, or hang it on something that's close by. So this makes it really, really easy for those of you that want to stop, start as you're going. Maybe you're at work, maybe you work from home, and you have a nice little setup. And this is just an easy way that you can, change your speed. Maybe you're getting a little tired, you want to slow it down. Maybe you want to push yourself through a meeting, and you want to get the heart rate up. You can do that. And again, this safety bar, very easy to use, and doesn't get in the way at all once it's folded down. But it does give you a little bit more stability, especially when you're ramping up the speed. So overall, though, really like the design of this. Really like the remote, the LED display, and this foldable safety bar. All right, so next let's talk about the most impressive, or at least one of the most impressive features of this walking pad treadmill, which is an auto incline. You don't see this on a lot of compact walking pads, especially one that automatically does it. It does it with the remote as you're walking. So all you need to do to increase is you hit the increase up. It goes from 4% up to 13%. So 6 levels. There are 6 levels in total, and the motor does all the work for you, right? You don't have to crank anything or get it off the ground manually. It does it all automatically. It changes as you walk. So it gives you a nice little intensity boost, especially if you're using it for maybe zone 2 cardio, or you just want to make your cardio session just a little bit more difficult. Um, Honestly, though, the auto incline, it's pretty cool. I'll show it, probably a little B-roll shot here, but it shows the incline on like some marked lines as you increase it, so you kind of know where you're at. But also the LED display has the different levels as well. So again, levels 1 through 6, signifying which level incline you are at. It's pretty quiet when it moves. That is the loudest part of this, in general, the treadmill, is when it is moving the inclines. So if you're on a Zoom call, or you're on a meeting, a voice meeting of some sort, maybe that's the time that you don't use it. But when it comes to actually, we'll talk about it, but the use of the treadmill is actually pretty quiet. It's just the incline is a little bit louder. But honestly, I'll show you some B-roll. It's really not that loud at all. So great feature, though, auto incline. All right, so let's talk about noise level of the treadmill. This treadmill does have a 2.5 horsepower motor under the hood that is impressively quiet. That motor does drive the belt between 0.6 miles per hour all the way up to 7.6 miles per hour, which is honestly really impressive for a quote unquote walking pad. This is almost built like a treadmill. I know my top speed is at 7.6. I know you can tell, but it's really an impressive design, an impressive feature from a 2.5 horsepower motor. It's important to note, though, again, that it only goes 4 miles per hour when the safety bar is down, but still, that motor is really quiet. So, whether you're walking during maybe a Zoom call or some sort of online meeting, this sound will not get in the way. The person that's probably tested this even more than I have is my own wife, and she even walks with a sleeping newborn baby on the walking pad, and it does not disturb my daughter. So it's quieter than most vacuum. Well, it's definitely quieter than most vacuum cleaners. It's quieter than your standard treadmill, especially the one that I currently have in my gym right now. And honestly, it makes less noise than my washing machine. So this is something that you're not going to notice when you're on a phone call, when you're on a Zoom call. The only thing they might notice is, all the sweat, that you might be pouring out if you're really getting intense, especially on the auto incline. So overall, I think this is probably, if not the best feature, it's got to be one of the best features. It's just how quiet the operation of the motor and this treadmill and walking pad is. All right, another great feature, which is great with a lot of walking pads, is the storage. Fold down the handle, pick up the far end back here, and roll it on the wheels. It's as simple as that. You can store it in a closet, you can store it under a bed, anywhere that's pretty convenient. It's very thin, it folds flat, and with the wheels, it just makes it super easy. For me personally, it fits under my bed with no issues whatsoever. Now, I have a pretty low profile couch, so it didn't really fit under that. However, if you're in office space, this is something that you could just pick it up and stand it up somewhere, put it, underneath your desk where you're not going to, where it's out of the way. So I think this is a huge win for people in an office space, but also maybe people that don't have enough space, like in an apartment. You can store it under a guest bed, behind a couch. And again, I think it's pretty easy to put it in a closet and just roll it out. It's pretty lightweight, which makes it really easy to move around, especially with the wheels. So storage, great feature, and a great thing that can come from pretty much all walking pads. But I think with this walking pad from Akluer, the HB1, is that it's so light, it's so thin and close to the ground, it makes it really easy to store underneath things, not just in a closet, but obviously that's a viable option. So storage, big win here. All right, so obviously overall there's going to be some pros and cons here. I think there's way more pros than cons, though. Big pro here is going to be the minimal setup. No tools required. It's pretty much plug and play. Another thing that you do not see in the market is an auto incline feature, especially one that goes all the way up to 13%. Another great feature, it's very compact, it's very portable with the wheels, and maybe the most important is the 2.5 horsepower motor that is super quiet. It does include that remote control, which I think is a huge bonus, especially for those of you that are going to use this under a desk. And it's foldable as far as the handlebar goes. That adds safety, but also is very easy to use. Now, some cons. There is no Bluetooth. There's no app integration, so it's very simple. It's got a very basic display with no heart rate. So I think, that's a con, but at the end of the day, most of us have smartwatches nowadays anyways to keep track of the heart monitoring. It's not really made for top-end sprinting, but also this is a walking pad, not a treadmill. One really annoying thing that I also found that's a con is the plug itself. To plug it in, the cord is not very long. It's only about 5 feet long, so you might need some extension cords. So overall, though, there's a lot to like about this treadmill. I think it's very effective and easy to use for everyday use. And it's very portable and very quiet, especially for a home setting. and not just a gym setting. All right, so overall, the HB1, who is this for? For me, I think it's going to be for somebody that maybe doesn't have a full set gym, but just wants it for their apartment, people that maybe work from home, desk walkers, maybe even, if you have some low impact cardio or rehab that you want done where you don't have to do the sprinting. Anyone that's short on space, I think this is a great buy. So if you fall into those categories, or you just don't want a big dedicated setup here, this makes a ton of sense, especially for the price, coming in at just about $300. Currently, it's on sale for $299. I do see it go up to $330 or $40, but at the price point of $300, I feel like this is a no-brainer if you're looking for a walking pad, especially if one that's maybe a step up from some of the ones that you see just kind of all over Amazon when it comes to the sponsored ones. So I really think the HB1 is an upgrade compared to your traditional walking pad, and it's great for all of those users. All right, so final verdict here on the Akluer HB1. It surprised me. It's quiet, folds flat, has an incline and auto incline. It literally took no time to set up whatsoever. It pretty much just came out of the box. I put this on, I plugged it in, and it's ready to go. So, at the bottom of the video, you are going to find that affiliate link. I might even be able to get some discount codes out there for you guys. So if you're thinking about grabbing one, especially if you're in the market for a walking pad, then go ahead and use that affiliate link. It does help us here at the TheBarGym Reviews. But also, there's some things that you can do that are free. Obviously, comment, ask a question. If you have any questions about this, that maybe require a little bit more detail, ask them. And I'll get back to you. I pretty much get back to almost all of my comments. If you found this helpful, obviously give this video a like, maybe even a subscribe if you want to see future videos of more reviews on equipment, both big companies, small companies. I kind of do them all. So make sure that you're doing that. And if you like what we're doing here, make sure you do those things, and we'll see you guys next time.